Yo, what is good, YouTube? It's your boy BDB, and today I have a video I want to talk about. It is going on in the NBA. As a lot of people know, the NBA playoffs are here. But a lot of people have been talking about why are teams that are the top seeded teams getting beat down by the lower seeded teams. And if you did not hear, obviously the Los Angeles Lakers, they lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves. They were beat by the Minnesota Timberwolves in 5. So obviously the Lakers in 5 trend was obviously very booming. And then you got Golden State Warriors. They moved on to the next round, beating the Houston Rockets. Then you had the Milwaukee Bucks losing to the Indiana Pacers, and then so on and so forth. But a lot of people want to talk about why are all these lower seeded teams beating the higher seeded teams? This does not make any sense. And I'm going to say why. I said this quote to my dad because he called me earlier, because Indiana Pacers, they just beat the Cavaliers, but the Indiana Pacers were beating the Cavaliers 80-39 at halftime. And I told my dad, I said, and I told a lot of people this, I said, people don't understand. It is harder to beat a team who has made it either a deep playoff run or literally the champions. It's hard to beat them versus the best team in the league. People don't understand that. It's harder to beat, and I told my dad, I said, it's harder to beat an Indiana Pacers versus an Oklahoma City Thunder. That's facts. It is harder. Regardless if SGA scores 30. But here's the thing. When you look at OKC's team and you look at Indiana's team, on paper, Oklahoma City is better. Yes. But guess what? When I look at Indiana, they do everything. They have winning basketball characteristics. They do. Tyrese Halliburton, he's a very good player. Very great player. You also have an NBA champion in Pascal Siakam. And then you got to think about this. Most of their players on that team, most of their important players on that team, went to the Eastern Conference Finals last season against Boston. That whole team literally is the same team that went to the Eastern Conference Finals. When I look at Golden State Warriors, that same team with their important guys, they have been either to the NBA Finals or they're NBA champions. Except Buddy Hield. Because Steph Curry he's 4-time NBA champ. Draymond Green's a 4-time NBA champ. Jonathan Kuminga. Some people say Jonathan Kuminga is important. I think he's too inconsistent for me. But Jonathan Kuminga, he's an NBA champion. Jimmy Butler, he's been to the NBA Finals twice. Kevon Looney, he's an NBA champ. Gary Payton, the second, he's an NBA champion. The Golden State Warriors have a lot of champions on that squad. Or guys who have been to the finals. So they obviously know what they're going to be doing. Then when you look at a team like the Denver Nuggets, people say, oh, why is Denver such a hard team and everything like this? Most of Denver's team literally was NBA champions. It's harder to beat a team full of champions and team who has been to the conference finals or conference title game than it is to beat a team who's the best in the league. And that's real. That's facts. That is facts. It's facts. Because OKC, SGA, J-Dub, Chet Holmgren, you can even put Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, the other Jalen Williams. Most of those guys on that OKC team, even Lou Dort, most of those guys on that OKC team, they never went past the second round. They didn't go past the second round. Now, do I believe they can get to a conference finals? I think they could. If they play like they're supposed to, like they're the number 1 seed. But it's going to be a dogfight between them and Denver because it's hard to beat a team full of champions. Because when you look at Denver, Nikola Jokic, MVP, multiple-time MVP, but then I'm not even going to say nothing about that. He's an NBA champion. Jamal Murray was an NBA champion. Michael Porter Jr. is an NBA champion. Aaron Gordon is an NBA champion. Christian Braun, NBA champion. DeAndre Jordan, NBA champion. Russell Westbrook, he's been to an NBA Finals before. Credit, he ain't been in a long time, But Russell Westbrook has been to an NBA Finals before. Dan, you got to look at this. What's the guy's name? Christian Braun. He's an NBA champion. So, wait, I think I said Christian Braun. I think his name Peyton Watson. I think he was there when they won the NBA championship. A lot of those guys have been on Denver's team, has won an NBA championship, or has been to the finals before. So they have a lot of experience of how to get there. They do. So it's harder to beat a team who has most of experience, like who has a lot of championship experience. Not either a lot of championship experience, or they made a deep playoff run, or they have been to the finals before, or the Super Bowl, or the NFC, or the AFC champion. It's hard. It's hard. Especially if your main guys or your best player has been there so many times. That's why it's so hard to beat them. Like, look at LeBron when he's been in the Eastern Conference. A lot of people say, oh, this team is better than them. This team is better than them. How are they? They're seated lower. Okay, but you got to think about this. Braun has been in that position so many times. He's just like, I'm back. He thinking, oh, man, I'm in Jamaica and this, man. I've been here so many times. There ain't nobody else that can beat me. He been in there so many times that when people say, oh, the Eastern Conference Finals, oh, man, yeah, Braun in there. They be like, oh, Braun is in it. That's what they do. They be like, I know LeBron's in it. Yeah. That's how many times LeBron has been. Even the NBA Finals. That's how many times LeBron has been. And teams like Cleveland, I didn't believe Cleveland was going to really get far in the playoffs because their best players ain't been past the second round. The only players that's gotten far was DeAndre Hunter and Max Strus. They're not even that important to Cleveland. To the fans, yes. But here's the thing. They're important, but they're not like the main factor. They're not the main factor guys. Because DeAndre Hunter, he went to the conference finals against the Bucks in 2021 with Atlanta. Then Max Strus, he's been to the finals with the Miami Heat when they played against Denver. But I'm thinking about this. I'm like, the Cavs, they're important guys. Garland, Mitchell, Mobley, Allen. They ain't been far in the playoffs. They haven't even been past the second round. Donovan Mitchell is their most important player on that team. He can drop 50 points all he won't. But guess what? He ain't never been past that second round in the East or the West. He ain't never got past the second round. Rudy Gobert got in the conference finals last season. Minnesota. Why are they so good? Because most of their guys have been to the conference finals. Ant-Man, Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert, Naz Reid, Jaden McDaniels. That's already 5 guys that's very important to that team that has been to the conference finals. That's already 5. And then Boston. Why is it going to be so hard to beat Boston? Because you got most of those guys on that team is NBA champions. We already know the starting 5. Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis. Then you got guys on the bench. Al Horford, Peyton Pritchard. I think you can even throw Luke Cornett, J.D. Davidson. Or Davison. Jordan Walsh. Most of those guys on the Celtics have been NBA champions. It's going to be harder to beat a team who's been far in the playoffs versus a team who's just the best in the league. It's hard. It is going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. And the way Indiana plays very winning basketball. They're going to drive to the paint. If they see you, if you draw in 2, they're kicking out for an open 3. And if they're going to keep that ball moving on offense, they keep the defense moving. That's what makes defenses get so tired. Now, they couldn't beat the Celtics because the Celtics have such great defense. They do. They have such great perimeter defense that it's like, man, you really can't get past them because all the guys can move. You got 2 great guards who can defend the perimeter. Then you got Jaylen Brown. He can also defend. Jason Tatum can also defend. And Porzingis, he can defend down low. It's hard. Now with Indiana, they keep that ball moving, making the defense rotate, and the defense gets tired, and they're just gonna beat you down like that. Then they're picking you up full court. Small little TJ McConnell is picking you up 94 feet. That's what makes Indiana Pacers so tough to beat in the NBA playoffs, because their whole team, and even they got Obi Toppin over there, but their whole team basically went far in the playoffs. It's that same exact team. It's hard to beat them. It's hard. And a lot of people need to be real about that. It is harder to beat a professional team that has been far in the playoffs or that has won a championship versus a team that has been the best team in the league. And it's facts. It's facts. And in the NFL, I can't really think of an NFL team, to be honest, that's really that hard to beat in the playoffs. I mean, obviously you got the Chiefs, Eagles, all that stuff. But there's some NFL teams that in the playoffs, there's a reason why it's hard to beat them, because most of those guys got a lot of experience in the playoffs. Or the coach knows what he's doing. Coaches also matter. They also matter. That's why I said last year's conference finals, when it was Minnesota, except Dallas won't be in it, Minnesota, Dallas, Indiana, and Boston, I said it's going to be the same thing, except it's going to be Minnesota, Indiana, and Boston, and whoever wins out of OKC and Denver. And in my opinion, I think Denver could pull it out. In a 7-game series, I think Denver could pull it out. I think so. Because people are saying Jokic is playing bad right now, and that's right now. But at some point, they will turn it up. Aaron Gordon has been going crazy this series. So, I mean, at some point, Denver's going to turn it up, and I think it's going to be too much for OKC to handle. Now, it's going to be a dogfight, but I think Denver's going to be able to pull it out. But that's going to consist this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I will drop more videos out for you, and I will do my best. And I promise you, I will do my best with finding some great content for you. It's great stuff that I will talk about. And that is this video. Deuces.